The Ryan Russillo Show, presented by DraftKings. On today's show, we go deep with Big Cat. We're going to talk some college ball. I think there's things that we're pretty aligned on. Then we're going to draft 8 teams to win a national championship. We go 16 deep. It was a bit of a struggle. And speaking of playoff format, we go back to the 4-team playoff format with the NFL, where we had a difference of opinion on who the 1 seed would be based on resume so far this season. And we've got life advice. One touchdown can change everything. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself. It never gets old. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, where every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. With DraftKings Sportsbook, all the action's in your hands. First touchdown, anytime TD, live bets, every play, every snap, every game matters. When there's something on the line, every drive feels bigger, every moment more intense, and every trip to the end zone could mean a win for you. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. When your team hits the end zone, you could hit the payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Ryan. That's RYEN, Ryan. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Chill.
Buy now and get the Russillo hoodie free. Call 1-800-European Theater.
The week is the Oregon Duck.
We need a big push here.
You know him from his weekly hits on Waddle and Sylvie. Big Cat joins us, now a colleague. Well, I guess always a colleague, now a coworker.
Yeah, it's a little different when Cerruti hits me up. It's like, yeah, of course I got to come on. It's like we work together. Waddle and
It is
Sylvie,
crazy, huh?
The Waddle and Sylvie are the best. They're the absolute best. Shout out those guys. I just want to say before we start, there's a 10% chance I might have to run out at any point because I'm dealing with I got a little tummy stinger going on. Everyone's got something this time of year when we get closer to November, or Thanksgiving. So I'm dealing with a little something.
Totally get it. Don't even worry about it. If you got to go, you got to go. And we'll fill. We'll stretch.
I have Max here. If Max might have to sit in my seat. All right. So how is the first 3 weeks at Barstool been? Has everything changed?
I think the show's the exact same show.
I agree.
The staff's been awesome, like really great. Everybody on the sales, promotional side. We even have a product launch coming out here pretty shortly. So it's like the George Foreman grill, but not as much of a lean.
Mm-hmm.
But I was excited that Dave was on that one. Just we were like, can we do this without ripping him off? And it's like, I think just a little less of an angle. Because you want some of that fat for the flavoring, and that's where I think George went wrong. Although he moved a lot of product early on, so yeah, there's some product stuff there. But your sales guys, and it's been kind of cool to see how like things do, and then see it improve and see where it's going. But as far as the show itself, I mean, I only think it's the vocal people that are. I'll just say it. I think there's a lot of simple people that think they need to be heard all the fucking time. That are like, oh, well, now that you're doing this, like perfect example, I was doing tweets for the former gambling partner that I had because it was still part of the contract.
Yeah.
I'd been doing them for over a year and a half. And the second it was announced that I was with Barstool, and then I tweeted out like a pic, it was like, oh, really? You're going to start doing this now? And it was like, I have been, but you found a timeline, a piece in the timeline where you could say, everything's different. And look, the exact same thing happened to me after I left ESPN. The second I was fully gone from ESPN, it was, oh, figures you would start doing this now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm actually pretty much the same guy every show. So
I would say I would back you up on that, that you're the same guy, especially with Cerruti and Kyle. The show is the same. I listen. And it's funny, though, because it happened to me probably, I don't know, 10 years into doing this, where I had the epiphany of there's always going to be people who shit on you, and there's always going to be people who say it's changed or things are not the same as it used to be. And then you have to take a step back and realize that you have hundreds of thousands of people that listen to every single show, and there's I don't know, 100, 200 people complaining online. And then if you can just let go of that, it's the most freeing thing in the world. And no one likes change. I fucking hate change. Any type of change, whether it be real or perceived. Like this is made up change. But yeah, I think you guys, I'm very happy. I have my first pitch for you on maybe doing a Barstool event.
Okay, let's hear it.
We do a combine every single late February. Do the bench press, little run.
He figures you would start with the bench press. Be like, hey,
look, you don't have to come, but it would be funny if you just showed out. I don't know, just something to put out there.
Yeah, because I think that was all right. I'll ask you this because like one of the biggest things with Dave was I was like, hey, we've known each other a long time. It's not like we've been friends, but I've known him because I met McShay. We were all in our 20s in Boston. So I met him when he first started Barstool. We've always been friendly, but I mean, we could go 2 years, 3 years without ever running into each other or ever talking. So it wasn't like we were best friends. And when we finally sat down and like talked about this, I was like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to sound like a dick because I know like what this brand is to you because you built the whole thing. But I was like, I'm kind of old and I just don't know that I can be like in a video with this guy arguing. Like, is there a way I can do this where I don't have to? And Dave was like, don't worry about it. He's like, keep doing part of my take and do a couple of the golf events.
Yeah.
Which I've got people asking me if they can be like my caddy for some of these things. They're so excited about how well you guys have absolutely crushed it with the golf content. And so I hope I'm not disappointing anybody because I feel like some people were like, oh, we get to play with this new toy. And it was like, no, Dave was like, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. And the arguing with someone was Nicky Smokes you were talking about, which he would body you in an argument. But I remember when we were talking it all through and I told you, I was like, it's no different than for Barstool fans who know how we operate. It's no different than like Whitney and Biz and Yans, the Chicklets guys. Like they do a couple things a year. It's awesome. They're the best guys in the world. It's awesome when they're involved.
They're cooler than I am. 100%.
I mean, they're cooler than everyone, but
right.
They aren't in the everyday mix and it doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't matter. So I think you're going to be perfect, but I just think about the combine. Maybe we send Kyle instead. Maybe that's the answer. Kyle is the representative from the Russillo show at the combine. I'd love to see Kyle compete in the combine.
He would love to have some purpose physically, because he had a trainer. You knew about his trainer from the Frolic Room, right? His name is Blade.
Yes.
Yeah.
We would just come to the bar and the guy would be like, are we training? He'd be like, no, I'm drinking. I love that story. But yeah, he should do it.
How much have you drank too much to then go train? He's like, today, yeah. Today's out. It's like, okay. So if I just got here a little bit earlier. But yeah, maybe that's a Kyle thing. I mean, he's got some mass to him. And I mean it in a good way. He's a physical dude. He's a presence. Yeah. You're a big guy. Yeah.
He's a big guy. I'm a big guy. We got a lot of big guys. Max takes it seriously. It's the beauty of Barstool is we do the dumbest competitions and we say at the beginning that they're dumb and they mean nothing. And then within 5 minutes, everyone wants to kill each other. And we're arguing about bench press and, did you get the right start off on a 40-yard dash? I have one other World Cup, I believe, and this might be me talking out of school, but I think there is some thoughts behind potentially doing a soccer tournament in the office, getting like field turf, doing like a 3-on-3, 4-on-4. Will Cerruti be attending that?
Cerruti's in. Cerruti's in.
All right,
yeah.
Perfect. Done.
I stopped playing soccer when I was 5, I think. So I'm not your guy for that. The bench press thing, though, just to follow up on that.
Because people are saying you're kind of a pussy if you don't do the bench press.
Oh, well, then if people said that, I guess I'll do it.
We had Tate last year. He couldn't get 135 up, and that has haunted him every single day. He's our crazy Ohio State fan. So anytime he goes after another fan base, if you look at his replies, it's just him not getting the bar up. And it's like, dude, you got to figure this out. You got to be able to get this up.
He must have just never, ever bench pressed, ever. Because I think there's people that, maybe if you're a decent size, like, average man strength or whatever, not like just an incredibly weak person, that if you've never, ever done it, then all of a sudden it's in your hands. Your body's like, what the hell is this? And why are we lying down? And what's going on here? But I don't know if there should be a rule just passed in society. It doesn't really have anything to do with the combine or Barstool, but it's like, if you can't do one rep of 135, you can't say anything to anyone.
I kind of agree. I'll throw another one on there because this is just a hard and fast rule I've always had and a strong belief I've had for a very long time. If you can't run a 6-minute mile, you're a pussy.
Oh, wow. Look out. This isn't true. Are you 6? Was this the whole thing? Because this has been going on forever.
I know. The 6-minute mile. Yeah.
Right. But my point was, if you run a 7-minute mile, you shouldn't be telling anyone.
Agreed. Just like if you are benching like 85 pounds, you shouldn't tell anyone. Right?
You think? Yeah, well, that's what we needed to do is figure out the perfect correlation of like, what's a 6-minute mile? What's a 5-minute mile? But then it's like, what's a 5-minute mile at like what age? And then what size?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to run a 5-minute mile anymore because I weighed 168 pounds, I think, in high school when I ran the mile.
Could you imagine?
I'd rather be slower and look like this.
Yeah, I would agree. Could you imagine walking up to like someone or someone at an office somewhere being like, "Yeah, I just got into weightlifting. You know, I'm benching now." It's like, "What's your max?" 75.
But good form.
One rep,
grounded.
75.
And I'm not arching my back a ton. Like, you know, I'm getting in there. Yeah. I like this. I love exactly what you've done. You Mulaney'd the 7-minute mile, 6-minute mile conversation here. All right, little college football, because I'm not going to do an hour and a half with you here. You got a lot of stuff to do. You got kids. Say hi to them for me, by the way. But
I will.
Yeah, we like to FaceTime with them every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see the Christmas lists again, see if I can't help it out in case things don't pick up for you guys.
I'm a little hard on money right now.
Yeah. Well, look, we can talk about it off the air.
I had to give up. It was one of those situations it was like a Jamar Chase T. Higgins thing. Dave came to me and was like, "Hey, we want to sign Russillo. Can you take a pay cut?" And I was like, "Of course."
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to do that.
People are going to think all this is so serious.
But it says, I mean, it speaks to your character. It speaks to my value. It speaks to Dave, just being upfront about it, though. He could have just said, "Hey, I'm not going to pay you as much," and not tell you why. Be like, "Hey, Grit Week, that's going to be all remote now."
Yeah, sorry. We got to make sure Russillo gets on the payroll. All right, let's talk college football.
Is there anything with the rankings that you're actually really upset about?
Ooh, no.
Because we can always find something, right? Wow, you're just a flat out no. Miami. You're not upset about where Miami is right now.
My theory with Miami is that when they did the rankings 3 weeks ago or whatever it was when we first had the rankings, they fucked up Miami. And then every single week since they've been pushing them up a couple, being like, "Yeah, we kind of fucked that up." Like they did beat Notre Dame and we have Notre Dame at 10 and Miami at 18. So they're just covering their ass as the weeks go along. Because who's Miami beaten since then? It's like, I think they beat Stanford by 1 billion. I can't remember who they played last week. So I think they're just correcting the error they made to start. But no, all these rankings, like they all kind of make sense.
Was it NC State? They kill NC State last week?
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
I was watching that game just because I was like, I need to get my eyes back on them. So go ahead.
Yeah, they're under the radar. I think there's a couple like spots that I could see people getting angry in like doomsday scenarios. Otherwise, the rankings are the rankings, and I really don't have a big issue with them. The doomsday scenarios are what happens if USC beats Oregon this weekend, and then Michigan beats Ohio State, and now you have 5 Big Ten teams with 2 losses or less. Is Oregon now out? Which probably, right? Like what? That would be a shocker, but they probably would be.
Yeah, the thing with the Big Ten with this Oregon USC matchup is that there's some theories that if SC beats them, it's like, okay, cool. Now USC could be potentially that 4th team in. And I don't know if it would mean that it's just Indiana, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Because I think
3.
Oregon's good.
Yeah.
What, you think Oregon's still in?
No, I think USC would then be in. Because USC would only have 2 losses. Yeah, no, I think I will confidently say right now, unless obviously there's a scenario where Oregon beats USC and then loses to Washington,
Yeah,
and
that's fine,
Michigan
right? But
right. But I think that if you have multiple 2-loss teams, 2 or less loss teams in the Big Ten, I think the Big Ten will get 3 teams in no matter what. So if USC beats Oregon and then beats UCLA, I think USC would get in. I think if Oregon obviously wins out, they're in. But if they trip up, they beat USC, lose to Washington, they're going to find a way to get 3 Big Ten teams in. I can't see a world where it's 2.
because there's a strong argument that Oregon doesn't have the resume. Like, if you really want to pick them apart and then look at their offense against the better teams. But, like, look, I think Iowa, despite the record, is a good team. I don't think they're great, but I think they're a good team. When you look at their 4 ranked losses and how those games went down, I mean, they're really the only team other than Penn State at home. And then obviously Oregon on the road because it was a competitive game. But that Iowa-Indiana game was incredibly competitive. So I look at an Iowa win. Like, that's the part that gets really stupid. It's like, okay, well, how many top 25? It's like, I don't know, man. I watch enough. I think like teams 16, 18 through 30 through 35, it feels kind of like a coin toss. So anybody that's below that cutoff because maybe they have one more loss and nobody wants to rank them. Like, look what's happening with the back end of the rankings. And it's not even just this year. It's like, all right, so whoever 18 to 25 lost, well, if it wasn't like against a juggernaut, we're just dropping you. And then they cycle them right back up. You know, these teams just kind of replace each other in this bottom tier. And that's where I think some of the wins where it's like, well, what if that's like the 30th best team? Is it really that different than team 18? So we'll see about that. Because I think Oregon's good. I could be totally wrong on this. I thought the Penn State win was an impressive win. I thought the Iowa win was impressive. They're down the right tackle. They're down their stud receiver. They're down their first round tight end. They lose another receiver in that game. And that throw that Moore makes to Benson, like, I thought on that day, and pushing Iowa around on the ground, like, that was a pretty good win, but it's just not going to count in the eyes of so many people because they're just going to be like, Iowa isn't ranked and they have 4 losses.
Yeah, I have, if you don't follow college football close enough, I could see how you'd look at the resume and just say it, but winning at Iowa, at Kinnick, with
raining,
bad weather, that's not. Iowa doesn't play football in those games. They get you into a street fight in a rugby style game that dictates it. And I thought Oregon out Iowa to Iowa, which was very impressive because that's kind of the conversation piece for all these new, former Pac-12 schools now in the Big Ten. Can they play the big boy football? Can they go? You look at USC goes and gets absolutely annihilated by Illinois early in the season. I know it was like a little close, but Illinois had their way with them in terms of running the ball and going up and down the field. USC's corrected that. They then beat a tough team in Iowa. So, the season as it ebbs and flows, I'm not knocking Oregon. I think Oregon should get actually more credit for getting James Franklin fired. Like, that should be an extra win. You ended Penn State's season. So that's the Big Ten. SEC, I got no problem. My big takeaway is Georgia's in the perfect spot, because they have an opportunity to not have to play in the SEC championship game and still get a bye. And SEC will figure itself out. There'll probably be, 5 teams, maybe 6.
Who's the 6th team?
The 6th team. So if
I don't see that. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. So obviously Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma. If Vandy beats Tennessee, is there a chance they can sneak in? The
committee loves Utah.
Utah's been playing really good football. They've been annihilating teams.
Yeah. No, we talked about it when I was trying to put together my Monday rankings, where I had Georgia ahead of A&M. Any issue with that, by the way?
No, I don't think so. Georgia did a really good job this year of getting everyone off the scent, because they had these games where not only obviously they lost to Alabama, but they struggled in a couple of these games where they've been down. They were down to Florida. Even the Mississippi State game, I think, was when we started seeing Georgia again, and then obviously with Texas. So yeah, I think Georgia's back to that level where I would trust them more than Texas A&M in a big game.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. Now, I might be putting way too much stock into probably the best Gunnar Stockton game of the year. I mean, look, he was terrific against Tennessee, the 4th down throw, but still Tennessee should have made the kick, So Georgia, over the course of the full season, we get really excited about it's kind of funny with Notre Dame. the head-to-head thing that's driving Miami fans absolutely crazy. They don't have a bad point, but what I think is lost in all these conversations, like no one's ever allowed to just say, hey, you know what? Like, I think this team's just better than that team. It's almost like that's the worst reason you could have for having one team ahead of another one. And that's kind of the whole point of watching this stuff is that, like, why would I watch anything on Saturday if you're only going to hit me with resume and strength of schedule?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I do think Notre Dame is better than Miami. I do think the game should also matter. The only other big thing I had from the rankings is I would like to opt out fully of all ACC discourse because the last 2 weeks we have done this thing where everyone has their scenario of a 4 or 5 loss Duke team.
The Duke scenario that we all did for
Duke
a week and a half.
Fucking sucks. I'm done talking about Duke. If you watch
I know that hurts
Virginia,
you to say.
What Virginia did to Duke, that was a absolute pasting. They were up and down the field. Duke's defense cannot do anything. They can't tackle. They can't cover. Every one of these ACC scenarios has Duke somehow becoming a really good team in the last 3 games of the season. I'm done with Duke. They'll probably lose to UNC. They'll lose to Wake Forest. And we'll still find a way to be like, hey, Duke could, with 8 losses, Duke could somehow get in the ACC title game. And then what happens?
I just like that it was a nice reminder of, hey, they don't have to take the 4 champions from those 4 leagues. And if we were to have this outline of a playoff for 20 plus years, we would probably have, I mean, it'd be hard to think that it would ever happen to the Big Ten or the SEC. I mean, so I guess the ACC is the only one we're really thinking about here, but I don't know. I still don't think Group of 5 football, it's just not the same test. I mean, you want to bang on the ACC, go ahead, but I just don't think James Madison has the same record as the winner of the ACC. I just don't even think that that's possible. Maybe back in the day with the old Boise State stuff, but I'm just not there.
Well, that's where I'm at with Group of 5. I want James Madison because of PFT. I'm defending the wall with him. This is a year though that you can reasonably say the Group of 5 is just not strong enough that it would like be a competitive game. I do think that I like having the Group of 5 spot there because I do think there are years where you could potentially have a team that is strong enough, and I don't want to just eliminate that. But yeah, this year it's gonna be tough for a Group of 5 team to stay within 3 scores of whoever they play in the first round.
Do you like any of the SEC teams this year, or are we just all doing post Georgia's win against Texas here? Because that's kind of the thing with me is like these teams used to destroy another Power 5 then team. Like those first couple weeks, remember some of those Georgia, Oregon games? I mean, you got to go back even further where the other team would come out of the tunnel, Dallas against Alabama, and then all of a sudden you're down 21-0. And so I don't know if it's an NIL thing. I think the previous couple of years with the SEC, you could make an argument. It's like this isn't a great group of quarterbacks. Going into this year, it felt like they had a ton of depth at quarterback, but you know, all the teams are flawed. And I'll get to you here in a second, but there's part of me that's also like, hey, you're falling in love with Ohio State and Indiana when you look at their 5-game stretch versus the 5-game stretch, 4 in Oklahoma, 4 in Alabama. You know, some of the stuff that these teams have had to do over 4 or 5 weeks, and you're going to compare this. No kidding, they don't look as good. Having said that, when I look at previous years where I fell in love with some of those SEC teams, I've not fallen in love with any of these, and I even think Ole Miss is overrated.
Yeah, I agree with you. Georgia would be the team that I would feel the most confident. I do love, I love John Mateer. I'm a huge John Mateer guy. I think Oklahoma's defense can hang with anyone.
But I'm not back yet with Mateer. I'm not like I get. Yeah, he's still not because they've won the games. People talk him up like, hey, everything's better. Everything's better. He's not the game. He's not the same guy that he was, even if he's healthier in the beginning of the year.
I agree with that. It's a question of can he get healthy if they can survive these last 2 games because you get a little bit of a break. And Oklahoma's defense has been very opportunistic. If you watch the game against Tennessee, if you watch the game against Alabama last week, those are 2 offenses that were moving the ball on them, but they were getting the takeaways. And will that sustain itself? But yeah, the long answer is no. I think Georgia, Texas A&M, can they defensively stop someone? Are they going to get into a game where someone can just run the ball down their throat? And then Georgia would be the team that I'm would say I trust the most. And I've been my take from September that I think is still here. Ohio State, it's okay to just say Ohio State's better than everyone. And Ohio State's better than they were last year. And they're probably going to win the national title. And we try to find other ways and cute different teams and all that. Ohio State might just be that good.
Is there any way that you could let yourself get talked out of the emotion of picking Indiana outright in that game?
I do like Mendoza. I just think it's I've seen this with Ohio State, and Indiana is so good. Indiana's they're the second best team in the country right now. I think they'll win a couple playoff games. I think when you get into these games, it's the difference between having 10 dudes and having 30 dudes. And that's where you have to kind of play perfect against an Ohio State. You know what I mean? You can't make Mendoza's had some really awesome moments where he's bounced back from bad moments. The Oregon pick 6 drives him down the field. The Penn State pick drives him down the field. I just don't know if you throw a pick against Ohio State, you have the opportunity to then drive down the field. Like those are the mistakes you can't make against an Ohio State. And I'm of the belief that Ohio State, they have been slow playing this entire season. I do not think they have really taken it off with their offense. You've seen it in flashes. I always go back to the Washington game where Julian Saint's first road start, tough place to play. They're like, hey, we're going to have this game plan where we're just going to run the ball. We're going to take care of business. And then there was a stretch, I think it was like end of second, maybe third quarter, where like, you know what? Let's just do the Jeremiah Smith thing for a minute. And they did it. And you saw it. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. They could do this at any time, and there's really no one who has an answer for it.
Agree on all counts. I still can't believe they're better. You change coordinators, Knowles, who gets millions to leave, and you're like, all right, we'll go with Matt Patricia. My guy, Chip. It's like, all right, there's just no way. And it's Sayin, and now Sayin went from, I wonder, to this list of unproven guys. I think he's the best quarterback in college football. Like, I have him on in games because I find him that much fun to watch because of his talent in games that it doesn't matter. Like, I'll get Ohio State up in the first quarter because I'm like, all right, I want to see like the first few possessions before it's 21-0 here, and they've decided to dial back everything they need to do. And even against UCLA, and look, UCLA's got a backup in there. Nobody's telling you UCLA has any chance in that fucking game. But, he's got Smith for barely the first half. Tate's out, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
I'm with you. I think they're horrifying, and I'm probably going to pick them again before the playoff starts because it's just, especially because there's not that one SEC team where I would go, all right, enough of this. Like, Ohio State gets to beat up on all of these other teams. This is going to be a little bit different. There's just not a team from the SEC that I feel that strong about. And that's even undefeated A&M, where I feel like I'm personally being a little too hard on a team that had a historic comeback because everything I saw in that first half from Marcel Reed, I was like, this is why I'm scared to death of you guys having, look, if they get the bye, that's one thing, but 4 games against these other teams in this playoff field, I wouldn't put that guy at the level of the other quarterbacks that we're talking about.
Yeah, and you can't have a half like that in a playoff game. I do think Texas A&M, the one thing about Texas A&M is they do have like shocking team speed. Some of those dudes are just
Concepcion's awesome.
Yeah.
Owens, yeah.
So they have guys that can compete with anyone because that's what a lot of these late round playoff games come down to is like who's got the fastest guys. I mean, this is what SEC did for a really long time. They would you'd have a Big Ten linebacker in coverage against was it Devontae Smith in that one national championship where was it Ohio State? Did Alabama play Ohio State? And it was like Devontae Smith was matched up with the linebacker, and it was like, this is the saddest thing I've ever watched. Like that would happen. And so, but I don't. So that would be the only thing. They do have that type of elite speed. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't trust Texas A&M all the way.
Who would be the best fit at LSU for you guys to get back on that Tigers bandwagon and kind of piss me off? Like, what would be the best case scenario of this is going to bum out Russillo so much because we're so much more aligned with this head coach?
Coach L.
I think you guys got me on Kiffin, too.
I do think we have you on Kiffin.
It's not even close. It's not even close. You're way ahead of me on Kiffin. I don't want Kiffin for that reason alone. Because I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to be AAA. I'm going to be AAA podcaster again if it's Kiffin.
I thought about that when all the rumors came out. Oh, yeah. I was
it's the first thing I thought about.
Yeah, because PFT and I are in a text group text with Kiffin and like 2 of his right-hand guys, and we like joke around, and they send us we'll send them just random be like, hey, try this play, try that play. it's a wrap if it's Kiffin. Although, does he still have a place? Does he still have a place in Southern California? You could get in there off season.
I ran into him Christmas morning.
Okay.
When I didn't go home for a bunch of Christmases, I would start my day. I'd give myself a gift, the gift of basketball. And I went down to the park. Although Manhattan Beach, it's like Christmas, but it's open. It's the strangest thing. This Los Angeles way, like, again, I don't know if it's different in the Midwest, the Northeast, but in the Northeast, like, you stayed inside. You didn't go do anything. You go sledding maybe, but like, you can't hang out. Manhattan Beach, like, restaurants are open the whole thing. So like one day I walked down from my modest townhouse and, laced him up, grabbed a ball, and I was like, oh, there's actually like dudes playing. It's like, all right, this is great. Maybe I'll give myself a little double-double. And Lane was out there with his kid because they had just gotten like a hoverboard or something. So, he was just going to, and I was like, oh, hey, Lane, I'm, Ryan had you on. He was like, what's going on here again? Like in classic Lane. I was like, never mind. I'll be over here playing basketball. Might have been the last time I went up to anybody, just cold said, hey, what's going on? And then the other time we ended up getting Lane on the show, the podcast, and the Zoom was up. It was bad. It was bad. I don't even blame Lane. I blame no one. But he was like, what are we doing again? Who is this guy? Why are we doing this game week? Like, he's like, we got a game to prepare for in 2 days. Like, why are we doing this? So I would say it is an accurate statement to say that I can't make up that ground if Lane ends up in Baton Rouge. There's nothing I can fucking do.
Yeah, I think Lane or Coach O, you got to root for maybe Luke Fickell to take the LSU job. I did Photoshop some message boards when Florida got open and Brian Kelly got fired. I Photoshopped a bunch of like SEC fans being like, who's a proven winner who got to a 4-team playoff? Luke Fickell. And it got people so upset. I was like, because I just tried to reverse it, being like, I'm hearing Luke Fickell's name out there. I really don't want to see him leave.
So who got upset with you? Fickell's people in Wisconsin, your school?
I have I'm in the doghouse at Wisconsin for other things that I've said. And people who listen to all my shows will know I might have been quoting some John Gruden emails, allegedly, at one point. You listen, women don't like it when you call them a pussy, especially when they're in very high-level positions like Chancellor at UW.
I'm gonna write that down.
Either way, I'm in the outs right now. I got to write an NIL check, I think I'm in that spot. To get back in, I got to write an NIL check at Wisconsin.
Are you still good with Boston College?
No, I'm not. I've not had a conversation with Bill O'Brien. I should. He's freaking out every single week.
Here's the thing. What about Gruden? I mean, if Gruden got the LSU job, you guys might be on retainer.
Yeah, we'd be good. We would. I mean, that would be. Although we have a weird thing with Gruden right now because his right-hand guy, one of the weirdest guys we've ever had, Jake Malasek, who came up here, like he was working here. Gruden got hired. He applied to be Gruden's right-hand guy. He now is with Gruden for life. I have a feeling that if Gruden takes a job, Malasek is going to be like, oh, I don't know you guys anymore. Like, you're my old friends. Like, I'm a college fucking SID now. Like, get the fuck out of here. You guys are just going to bust my balls. So we might be out if Gruden goes somewhere.
I think generally some SIDs could chill the fuck out a little bit.
I'd agree.
So
I'd agree.
Yeah, but if that's like new money for him success wise, then sometimes with the people that I'm on the fence about, I'm like, I actually want you to become difficult and be weird.
Right.
So go ahead and do it. So yeah, I might have to hope like Tommy Reese gets it. Maybe that's my chance. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the list of guys that if he gets the job, then I'm back and I'm in. Because Brian Kelly and I didn't text a ton. Not a ton.
I would say Brian Kelly all time. When he got fired, like James Franklin gets fired, right. And there were some nice stories that were released. Like people like, hey, I was a walk-on at Penn State, and James.
Not
Franklin,
my favorite. I still kind of can't believe they fired him.
Same. Right. A little bit. Yeah, I mean, like if they don't lose to UCLA, I think he gets it back together, and they finish out the season losing to Ohio State, whatever, in Indiana. But he keeps his job. But James Franklin gets fired. There's a lot of stories like, hey, I was a walk-on at Penn State, and James Franklin barely knew my name, but when I went to apply for a job, he actually called in advance and gave a reference and all these nice things. Like, seems like whatever you want to say about James Franklin seems like a decent dude. Brian Kelly got fired. The nicest thing that was said about Brian Kelly was when we had Zach Martin in studio the week that he got fired, and I asked him about Brian Kelly, and he said, we don't really keep in touch. That was the nicest thing. That was it. He got trashed by everyone because he's a dick. And it was just so funny because usually there will be that zag on it, like, oh, he's got to move his family and like, hey, these and all this stuff. Everyone's like, no, Brian Kelly, we're going to bash this guy to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, that one thing that Feldman had was like went to a Raising Cane's once and walked in and said, hey, is Graves here? Because I'm not sure about this breading. And people were like, get this fucking guy out of here. Okay, let's do a little draft. No snake draft. No snake draft with two people. Just
I think we should snake, but okay.
It should be maybe with this number one overall pick here. I'll let you go first because you're the guest. We'll go 8 teams each. So Rudy will assign points for this.
Okay.
We will draft 8 teams each, win the national championship, points for each win along the way. So there's a value to who you think can win the whole thing and then, whatever. But granted, there's not going to be the ridiculous thing, which drives me absolutely crazy, where for the 2024 playoff bracket, somebody's going, hey, do you realize how dumb this could be? It's like, well, let's have it be dumb for real, and then we'll change it if it happens. It's
okay.
Like, okay.
I want stakes on this, and I'm going to propose some stakes. Are you ready for it?
Do we get Mikey involved here so he can text us every weekend?
Yeah, listen, here are the stakes. I think these are fair stakes.
Watertown whiskey, Mikey, just for the reference. Go ahead.
Mikey texts a lot. I enjoy seeing his texts.
We're on the other side of something with him, and it's just.
He's a Caleb Williams hater. He's got Caleb Williams derangement syndrome. All right, here are my stakes for you.
Yeah.
If I win this, you come and compete in the combine. If I lose this, for the entire month of February, I will watch every Charlotte Hornets game and give you game notes.
That seems like
what? Take some off your plate.
No, this is like the Mikey
schedule.
Mikey and I were golfing, and he was like, Shanahan's never going to win a Super Bowl. And I was like, well, whatever. I was like, I just think that's stupid. Like, you don't like Shanahan. I get it. And then he was like, let's bet. I go, I have to bet you that he wins a Super Bowl, and then you win if he doesn't. I'm like, this is like the Chris Paul first take argument on First Take. And it was like, well, do you think he's ever going to win a title? I'm like, it's hard to win a title.
Yeah.
So this seems like look, I wouldn't. The Hornets with Knipple, that's not even a punishment.
Okay, well, all right, I'll do the Nets.
It has to be something worse.
Okay. By the way, that bet with that Mikey was trying to do with the Shanahan, I big dogged him because I was like, let's bet $10,000, but I get Kyle Shanahan's son in the future too. And he said,
that's
no.
right.
I said,
we were trying to work that out.
All Shanahan's in the future.
Mikey's the best.
I wanted that bet to go for 50 years. I wanted him to be like, hey, you owe me 10 grand. I'm like, hey, listen, Kyle Shanahan's son is coaching at Bemidji State right now, and his offense is fucking sick. So you don't know where this is going.
Dialing it up. It's a lot of 13 personnel. All right,
we'll
you
figure
go
out
first.
stakes later. All right, I'm going to take Ohio State. Easy.
Okay. I will take Georgia.
Okay, I'm gonna go Indiana.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Yeah.
I'll go A&M.
Okay, this is where it's gonna get interesting because I don't know. Oh no, actually I have an easy one. I have an interesting one after this one. I'm gonna take Texas Tech. I actually have a ticket, Texas Tech. I don't think it's gonna hit because I don't know if they can win the whole thing. 60-1.
Pretty good payout.
Pretty good payout. Pretty good payout.
I'll go Notre Dame.
That's what I wanted. I think Notre Dame, people got off of Notre Dame too fast because their defense looked like shit in the first 2 weeks. They have figured out their defense. CJ Carr is good enough, and their running backs are electric. Jeremiah Love should be the Heisman. That's not because I bet on him, but yes, he should be the Heisman. If I had a vote, I'd vote for him.
He should be a finalist. Again, a Heisman's supposed to be best player in college football. Although I do think I am way more for saying votes now than I was when it was first starting like 5-6 weeks ago, for the record.
Okay, so you just took Notre Dame. That sucks. I really wanted Notre Dame. I'll take Oregon because they got dudes. I don't like it. This is where we're picking teams that are not going to win the title but could win a playoff game.
Yeah, but this is the depth. This is where the money's made. I'll go Bama.
Okay. I will take.
This is working out perfectly. You've taken
This is
3
great.
Big Ten teams, and I've taken 3 SEC teams.
I know.
I just spent like 2 minutes once again. I've done it every week for like 4 weeks. I'm like, I'm not in love with these SEC teams this year.
I'll take Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think that was smart.
Because it's between Ole Miss and Oklahoma. I'm not going to say it's a foregone conclusion that Ole Miss gets in the playoffs.
Great band name.
What?
Foregone conclusions.
Foregone conclusion. Yeah, that Egg Bowl is going to be nasty, and Mississippi State is not a pushover. They've taken some teams to the limit.
I mean, now I have to take Ole Miss as the value pick. So now I have 4 SEC teams, which is not what I wanted to do. That's all right.
Okay, I'll take. Who's going to win the ACC? Does Miami control their own destiny? I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do either. They're in 5th place.
Should I take Duke?
They're in 6th place.
I'll take Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's the right answer. By the way, he should be mentioned for every opening. Key.
He should, and I think he has been, but that's also
not as much as other guys.
But the new NIL, like you can win at Georgia Tech. He's an alum there, right? It's like the Clark Lee stuff at Vanderbilt. This is what we have to wrap our head around. 10 years ago, James Franklin gets fired. Kurt Cignetti is the next coach of Penn State the next day. Now, Indiana's like, fuck it, we'll pay you whatever you want, and you can win here. So people got to wrap their head around it.
Now I think that was the last good pick.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have made this 7.
How many picks do we have?
8 apiece. That doesn't make
what
any
are we
sense.
at?
That was the 6th pick.
Okay.
Do I take Texas just to round out the SEC field?
You take Texas, I'll take USC.
I think Texas is a better pick than. Look, I'm going to take BYU just in case they get the rematch against Tech.
Okay.
Like it's a smarter play here. So go ahead.
All right, I'll take. I'll just do my last 2 picks. You're not going to take USC. I'll take Vanderbilt, and I'll take USC as a handcuff on my Oregon pick.
All
That's
right,
a little fantasy football stuff right there.
I'll take Miami, and then if Texas beats A&M, we have other weird stuff happen, and then the committee goes, hey, they did play at Ohio State, which once again proves don't schedule anyone ever.
That's all I asked the committee to do. If Texas beats Texas A&M, they need to come out and say Texas is not in the playoff because of their loss to Florida, because they struggled with Kentucky, because they went to overtime with Mississippi State. It has nothing to do with their loss to Ohio State, because I don't want those games to go away. Because I agree with you. They could have scheduled anyone, and they could have been in the playoffs. So I just need that. Like, that's what they need to say is here's why it has nothing to do with Ohio State.
Right. But if they play Chattanooga week 1, they're in the playoff.
But they also sucked in so many games.
You're right. It's not like a 7-3 where it's like, oh my God, like this is incredibly unlucky.
Right.
Like, again, Iowa, kind of an unlucky season.
Very much so. Very much so.
All right. Okay. Before we let you go, an exercise that I think everyone should steal.
I loved this, by the way. I did real research.
I do this every year.
Yeah.
So, all right. If we were the NFL committee, and so we're not going based on standings, and we had to seed 4 teams for what was probably the best version of the playoff, it left somebody out. I like things being exclusive, whether it's country clubs or college football playoff brackets. I think it's okay to be like, yeah, no thanks. So instead of 12 or 24, so we're going to go anti-Big Ten philosophy here. We have to come up, because this will be quicker too, by the way. The top 4 seeds in the NFL if there were a 4-team playoff.
Yes. I like this exercise. Well, it was hurtful and it was also helpful. One, looking at the Bears, obviously I know the Bears schedule very well, but that they don't really have a case because their best win
it's even worse than you think.
It's Commanders with Jaden is their best win. So that was tough. But I liked it because the Packers would not be ranked. The Packers have one good win against the Lions, and they've lost to the Browns, the Panthers, and the tie against the Cowboys was a loss. I count that as a loss.
That's absolutely a loss. I made
yeah.
it worst loss of the week when it was a tie. They have a worse point differential than Houston, who's 5-5.
Yeah. So
how about that Texans D though?
Texans D, they're doing something. So I actually the fun thing about this is it actually all kind of is intuitive and makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, these teams, like where everyone is slotted is pretty much where they should be. But if we're going 4 teams, I think we have 3 guaranteed in, and then the 4th is the debate. So my 3 guaranteed in are...
Let's go 1 seed first, just to see if there's
Okay.
any difference.
All right, so 1 seed first, I would have the Broncos.
Oh, my God.
The Broncos have a road win against the Eagles. They have a win against the Chiefs. They do not have any bad losses. They have that weird 1-point loss against the Colts in Indianapolis, where they should have won that game. They lost on a game-winning field goal. Remember the penalty and everything? And they have a 3-point loss in division to the Chargers. And that was on the road as well. I don't think the Broncos have a bad loss. If you're going on BCS, if you're going on college football standards, I think the Broncos are the 1 overall seed.
I don't even have the Broncos ranked in my top 4.
What? How?
Yeah.
How? What? Winning at the Eagles is the most impressive win maybe on the season.
So that's why you have Philly too, then, I guess, right? Because of the head-to-head?
No, I have the Rams too. The Rams also don't have a bad loss. Their losses are to the Niners and the Eagles. They have
but
good
they have
wins.
the head-to-head against...
Hold on.
Philly has the head-to-head
If
against
we're
them.
doing this true college football style, the Rams are my 2 seed. The Eagles are my 3 seed. Them getting blown out by the 2-win Giants is a huge. That's NIU. That's NIU beating Notre Dame.
Conference game on the road.
I'm just saying that was a blowout, an absolute blowout. And the coach got fired after. The only thing that's saving grace, and Max is in the booth right now, the only saving grace that you could say, if you're sitting in the room and we're doing the committee and I'm defending the Eagles, I'd be like, but listen, the Phillies had lost like an hour before, so the boys just weren't ready. Like that was obviously on their mind. Vic Fangio is a
I feel like you're
huge
referencing
Phillies
something
fan.
else that we can't even talk about here. Yeah, wow. All right, so Broncos, 7th best point differential.
I'm just
that's
going off
2 good
best
losses
wins.
in there.
And they have the
and
best
they've
win
got-
on the season.
Is the best win of the season what? Is at Philly?
Yeah.
Do you think that win's better than Buffalo's win against Baltimore? Week 1.
No, because Baltimore's
You might be
unranked right now. Yeah, Baltimore's
Yeah.
unranked.
Yeah, but if I'm in the committee, I'm going, hey, they didn't have 5 of their 6 best players for like a month. Lamar didn't play, but everyone was suited up. It was week 1, historic comeback. Buffalo gets that done. Resume-wise, like, hey, math to math, you would be right because you'd be plugging in this average Baltimore record into the whole thing. But that's why the committee's better. That's why humans would go, hey.
Listen, I understand injuries happen and Lamar and everything and all their defensive injuries. The Ravens' best win on the season is the Bears. They have more to prove, but that's their best win on the season. They've every team they've played that's above them, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Rams, the Bills, they lost. Their best win on the season.
All right, so I went Philly, Rams, Indy, Seattle.
Oh, why Seattle?
Number 1 in DVOA.
Okay, so we did opposite things.
No. We didn't do the opposite things. I had to come up with something for this. Look, number 2 in point differential. Everybody loves Seattle before this loss to the Rams. I would say even a good loss against the Rams. The best win stuff, the best win
Steelers
is hard to find.
Is Steelers.
Right.
So yeah, all right. So we disagree. So I went Broncos, Rams, Eagles, and then the 4 seed would be between, I think it's probably the Colts. Because the Patriots I was looking at, they obviously won at the Bucs, at the Bills, but they lost to the Raiders. That's a really bad loss. And the Colts only bad loss is at the Steelers, and they also beat the Broncos and Chargers. So it's probably Colts number 4 seed.
The Bears are last year's Indiana.
Yeah.
That's the worst. So the Pats' strength of schedule is 366, right? Opposing winning percentage here, 366. The Bears are the only other one the only thing worse than that / easier than that is 348 with Chicago. So the Bears are not in this. The Pats are not in this.
The Bears have the Bears season comes down to 4 games. They play the Packers twice. They play the Lions once. They play the Niners. If you want to actually say it comes down to 1 game, it's probably going to come down to that Niners game because it's basically, if you look at the playoff picture, the NFC North and the NFC West, which division is going to get 3 teams, which division is going to get 2. And it feels like it's going to be either Bears or Niners as the 3rd team.
Yeah, because when you look at the standings, I like that we didn't just go standings on this because I was afraid that was what would happen because it happens sometimes in these exercises where you're like, well, let's look at the conference standings because right now your 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC are Denver and New England, and then it's Philly and the Rams. So maybe you did kind of do that. But see, you're right. The best win of the season is probably them at Philadelphia because Baltimore doesn't look as good. But this is a bit like my Indiana-Penn State argument. I thought that was a tough game and a nice win, despite everything that's happened with Penn State this year.
I'd agree with that. I think if the Eagles had lost by 3 points to the Giants, they'd be my 1 seed. It's just the way they lost to that Giants team. That's how I ding them. The Eagles do have if the Eagles are basically running Oklahoma's schedule right now, where they played the Chiefs, they played the Rams, they played the Bucks, they played the Packers, they played the Lions. They've played everyone. So that would be the argument for the Eagles is the amount of ranked teams, so to speak, if it was college football, has been pretty crazy for the Eagles schedule.
And by the way, on the podcast, I said I might hate the Eagles now to good friend Willie Colon. The graphic said Ryan hates the Eagles. So I know that's the game, but obviously I don't hate him that much if I'm arguing with they're still the 1 seed.
Do you want to say anything to Max? Because Max is sitting right here. And you did say before we started taping that you hate the Eagles and you don't even want to watch them anymore.
It dawned on me that Sunday night against Detroit where I was like, I get real sick of watching this team. And that's probably a little bit of the tush push. And then with Sirianni, who I like, and we know a couple guys that have played for him that are like, he's the absolute best. And that means a lot. When it's like guys that I really like, I'm like, what's up with this guy? And we're like, he's fucking awesome. Sirianni's awesome. So then I feel a little guilty when he's losing his shit about a false start that's not called when it's like, dude, give me a break. Like you guys are built by false starts.
Right.
So the bad halves from Jalen, the AJ Brown stuff, and then having all these players that I really enjoy individually. And then it's like, why did they have to trade for more pass rush help? Like what happened to all these guys they've been drafting? So I have too much Eagles in my life. I've just watched it too much is probably the general point. But the graphic was a little misleading on it, but people probably clicked on it. And Philly's been cool about it, though. Philly's been totally understanding and pretty chill. So
knowing you as well as I know you and knowing that you will most likely never see a therapist, so I can be your therapist for a second here with the Eagles hate. And I think I diagnosed this with you a month ago or 2 months ago. You were one of the first to be like, hey, Russell Wilson's pretty lame. Jalen Hurts has some early onset Russell Wilson.
I think he might be. Jalen Hurts might be unfriendly Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because when you hit me up with it, I was like, hey. I mean, I was so early on the Russell Wilson thing. People were like mad at me about it.
Yeah. I remember you nailed it. And Jalen Hurts, we do a game on PMT on Fridays, fortune cookie or Jalen Hurts quote, because every single time he opens his mouth, it's a fortune cookie.
And the other thing I did with Rossini, where I'm so glad that we did this, I was like, people, because the Eagles are awesome, okay? And this isn't because they win all the time. And that's why I felt so stupid saying it. And I remember having the Sheil Kapadia conversation about Jalen Hurts because people were outraged that he was 9th in Sandoz QB tiers. And I'm going, you're mad he's 9th? Like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, because he just won a Super Bowl and all these different things. We actually did our NBA comps with NFL quarterbacks, and I did Draymond Green for Jalen Hurts. And then I said, think about it a little bit. But the A.J. Brown part of it where he read the book and everyone celebrated it. And it just was so fucking stupid. Like, they win, and it's like, are you serious with this shit? The guy in the middle of an NFL game is sitting down to read, and we're supposed to think it's awesome. And now guess what? Like, it's just a continuation of all the same stuff with it. So I think I said A.J. Green in there one time by mistake. A.J. Brown. loved AJ Green at Georgia, but that's my SEC bias kicking in again.
Max has been shaking his head the entire time. Max, you get 30 seconds here.
I'm setting a timer right now.
I saw all of this. I saw the clip. I saw the NBA comparison. Draymond Green's ridiculous. I would be willing to hear Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum though.
Probably more like Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP.
Shouldn't have won it.
He's got you there.
Everything went through Tatum.
I'm fine. I'm fine with Jaylen Brown.
Max,
Draymond Green's ridiculous.
Max has been. This is put Max.
I thought it was kind of insulting to Draymond.
You're such a piece of shit.
Max had to publicly opt out of all Diana Rossini reports for the rest of the year. And we love Diana.
Nothing against Diana. Can't read them.
Can't read them.
They're all bad.
He's opted out. He doesn't want to hear it. He does not want to read the bad news.
Oh, that's good. That's self-preservation. And look, they're probably going to be. I just ranked them number one. Like but
that's bullshit. That's just an easy way out.
No, this is a real thing.
But you can talk shit, and then you'd be like, but you can always go back to be like, look, I ranked him number one, so I can't hate him that much. And then everything you say is negative.
Yeah, we know what you're doing, Ryan.
Except for the defense. You can't say anything about the defense. Defense is incredible. Also, you're like, I hate that they have all these good players, and then they go get more pass rush. What's wrong with getting more pass rush?
Yeah.
Keep the boys fresh. You should I don't know why NFL teams don't do it enough. The Eagles are one of the only ones. Always work to make your team get better. So many NFL teams get complacent, and the Eagles don't.
Facts.
I sense a change in Max's tone now that I'm working there.
Yeah, this is a nice bookend.
Yeah.
Max has changed on the Russillo show.
Thank you, Big Cat.
That's all me.
What do you
sorry.
guys? When do you guys release pods again?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. By the way, did I hit you up? You need to talk to our ghostwriter for our book.
Yeah, I did. I heard from him, and then he thought I was like free the next morning. He's like, I don't have. I will make sure I'm involved in the ghost book.
Okay.
I love talking about ghosts. Thank you, Big Cat.
A book about ghosts. All right, thanks, boys.
It's official. The Big Shack is out now. I tried one a few days ago, and it lives up to the name. It's a serious burger. 2 Angus beef patties, 3 buns, new secret sauce. It's stacked, balanced, and built the right way. You get everything you expect from Shake Shack. Fresh ingredients, that toasted potato bun, and sauce that pulls the whole thing together for $9.99. It's kind of wild how much burger you're getting, especially one that doesn't taste like typical fast food. It's big, it's fresh, and it's legit one of their best burgers yet. I've been using it as a post-workout. Next week, I'm thinking about doing a pre-workout Shack burger. Yeah, I said it. I'm not worried at all. Why should you be? If you've been waiting to see what all the hype's about, today's the day. Go to Shake Shack and order the Big Shack. Sounds familiar, made different.
You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari, 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Life advice, rr@gmail.com. That is the email to get in your questions for Kyle, Cerruti, and myself. Let's get right to it. Dream job. 6'2", 200 pounds. Nice. 35 years old. Haven't seen the inside of a gym since 1 week before spring break, freshman year of college.
You're still clocking in at 200. Good for you, bud.
Yeah, but dude, nothing better than the kids working out that never worked out. By the way, I didn't work out in college.
I didn't either. Still don't.
My dudes were like, again, no cheese, no mayo, chest and buys, 7 days. Like, looks like somebody's ready for Puerto Vallarta. Unbelievable. I'm an attorney, and have worked in litigation the past 10 years. I was burnt out when a client called and said their in-house counsel was leaving and asked if I'd be interested in going in-house. This is typically the dream: less stress, better work-life balance, more perks, but it usually requires a pay cut. And this client is in a different city, which will require a move, so I was non-committal. This was until they told me the salary before I even interviewed, and it was a 50% raise. I took the interview, got the job, started a few weeks ago. All was well until I got an email asking me to interview for another job. Several months prior to taking the in-house job, there was a job posting for an attorney position in the athletic department of my alma mater. He's not going to tell us. That's fine. Glad you wouldn't have said it. This position would handle NIL contracts and work with the teams and coaches to manage NIL and compliance. I sent in my resume and never heard back. Then 2 weeks into my new gig, I got an email asking me to interview. The interview goes great, but at the end they tell me this is an entry level position, and I need to tell them whether I will agree to the salary before the second interview with the athletic director. The salary is half of what the new job pays. For reference,
That's your old job, right?
he doesn't want me to say, but he was, yeah. So it's double. It's double, and the job he has now is paying really good money. And the job with the AD is, it's
It would have
half.
basically
Okay.
been a lateral move before, because he said he got a 50% increase, and now it'd be half of
It was
that,
a pay
so
cut
that's-
before, actually.
Oh, really?
Isn't it two pay
Yeah.
cuts? This is two pay cuts basically off of the
Yeah,
original
okay.
job.
So he was at one number before, and this new number is a lot more than the past number. And
Right.
the new, well, not new job because it's not his job yet, but the job with the athletic department is still significantly less than the job that he just left. So,
Oh, that he left.
a-
Damn. Okay.
yeah, like this is the kind of money. We're not talking millions here, but it's a different lifestyle, a different level of comfort that he's in now. Right.
Not
So
paying doc
this is-
fees on that new job, huh? Not
No.
even thinking about it.
No, you're not. You're not even. Your wife's like, don't even look at that boating license. This is quite literally my dream job. Being a lawyer is fine, not my passion, but a good job pays the bills. Working in the athletic department, however, would be incredibly interesting and fulfilling. Here's the problem: I'm married with 4 kids. Well, I think we got your answer.
Well, if they all want to go to one school, maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
There's your
Yeah.
fulfillment. Yeah.
The cut in salary would have been would have an appreciable effect on how my family lives. Yep, I would agree. The house we live in, the activities we do, the vacations, everything. My wife is supportive, but I know it would make our lives less comfortable. On top of that, I'd go from a cushy in-house job to grinding to find and sign the next Jared Verse. Is it worth it? Well, I mean, there's 2 problems here. I mean, one is all the ones you just laid out, but it's also how would you feel about going to the place that just gave you this raise that's a better lifestyle and everything, like everything that you would want as a lawyer, as you outlined for us. How would you feel about going to them and be like, hey, I'm actually already out of here? All right. It seems like you may not have any issue with that. And sometimes I think in life, like, I know there's so many different times I'm like, hey, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to do this. And then you do the right thing and you're like, yep, should have looked out for myself. That was fucking stupid. So, you got to pick and choose how you want to play every single one of these things. So if that's not even a factor and you don't even care, then cool. That's fine. I kind of feel like, especially with these schools getting all this new money, right?
Big Ten?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you say, hey, I'm 40 and this is what my salary is at the new place and this is my dream job, but that's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's just not even close. And I wonder if they would come back with a number it's not matching what you're making now, but close enough where you don't feel like you're sacrificing
More palatable. Yeah.
too much. Yeah. Like you haven't even negotiated with them whatsoever. So why not go back to him and be like, hey, I absolutely want this job and I would take it. I think I should meet with the athletic director anyway. But I can't do it at that salary. And this could be one of those cases where they're like, hey, this guy went here. He's good. He's this age. He's not younger. Like he wants this job. Like, can't we find, say, 50 grand more? So, you know what I mean? Can't we find it for this guy? So you might want to play that move. And if they say no, then it's almost like they're making a decision for you. Because I think financially, like you've laid it out with 4 kids and your wife may be supportive of the whole thing. But like the whole point of working this hard is kind of getting to a place where you're not constantly worried about what's coming in and going out every single month. So you might want to just play that one where you become the hot girl in the whole thing. Be like, I love this. I'd love to do this job, but that number's just not going to work. But let me meet with the AD anyway. And then if they say no, we can't do any better than that. Who knows? They could come back to you in 2 years. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Cerruti's the parent, so I mean, he probably has the most valuable stuff here, but I don't think like 4 kids deep is the time to pivot to sports at all costs. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to make this work.
Well,
And
listen,
like, go ahead, buddy. But
no, yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we are at a new position now. I had plenty of people who were like, dude, you got 2 kids. What are you thinking? Can't do that. And I think it's just what's the circumstance? How comfortable do you feel with it? Like, how is there room for growth? Like, I will say, leaving the job that you just took, I'm sure they're nice people. I'm sure it's great. And you seem like a nice guy and want to do right by them. But just like the state of how corporate America is these days, you gotta kind of look out for yourself, man. And I don't think it's the end of the world if you are just like, hey, this is kind of like a dream job. I'm sorry, but like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah,
So
they'll just
really
call the other guy that didn't get the job. And say
Yeah.
like, hey, actually, well, we've screwed up. Do you want to come back? And that guy probably
they'll
says
probably
yes.
pay him less, and so they'll be
Right.
good. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about that at all. The kids thing, man, it really complicates stuff because like when you're operating obviously on your own. I mean, I'm not telling this guy anything he doesn't know, but when you're operating on your own, it's like, yeah, I could fail and it's fine. I'll figure it out. And then when you got obviously little ones in the mix, you're like, okay, well, what's the 5-year
Hey,
plan?
if that's a 20-year gig, though,
plans.
if that's a 20-year gig, I mean, then that you
Get
might get
free
a
football
huge
tickets.
cut. Well, you might get a huge cut off tuition. I mean, I know
Quarter
certain
zips alone.
schools.
Yep.
certain
Swag.
schools, it's like, dude, if your mom works here and you can get in, like, you could probably just go here, man. Like,
Do they still do that? Do they still do the like employees get? I wonder.
They
I
did
wonder-
it when I was growing up. I didn't go to that school, but they did do it anyway.
Yeah.
But
I
the
think
one
Ryan's
thing,
thing is right.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Kyle.
I got to be honest with you, I'm still a little fixated on like Cerruti deciding to stay with me and people being like, well, you have 2 kids. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I
plenty
wasn't
people
starting a
told me
fucking taco shop here.
true. I mean, the last gig was given 6 months paternity, though. That's the thing. Like,
Well, I'm
there
done
was-
having kids, so that's the good.
yeah, we know that. We do know
No,
that.
but it's just such a ridiculous thing. It's like this.
Oh yeah, it was
default
multiple
thing.
people, and it really fucked
You
with my head,
just-
to be honest with you. Like, it really did.
Yeah, you just had
You're
a
my
second
guy.
kid.
I don't think I did it. Yeah, and like, my wife is fully on board with the things I want to do, and luckily she does all right. So like, we're okay. But like, yeah, plenty of people were just like, "You sure you want to do this? You got 2 kids now. Like, you can't be taking risks like this in your career, starting from zero, yada yada yada." I'm like, well, I'm not starting from zero. I still feel like I'm still me. Like, I still do the things that I do well, I feel like. And no, it was.
yeah, we
it
didn't
kinda
start the
fucked with me.
Roots the Roots show available on SoundCloud or something. It was
Yeah,
it was
totally,
a
yeah.
little different. It was
Yeah,
a little
right. That's
different.
my point. I'm offended.
Yeah, I could tell. I could totally tell he's a fan.
Yeah.
This fucking Russillo startup, ham radio. Sure, you want to
Listen,
do that?
The
Just had a second
Spotify
kid.
benefits were just a little bit like it's just above and beyond where like almost
were
anywhere
great.
else that you could find. The 6 months paternity leave, or was it 4 months? Whatever.
It
Paternity
was 6.
with a P.
For the record, didn't take 6, but it
didn't
was
take
6.
6.
Yeah.
Didn't take 6. There was one guy that had like
Hardo
3
guys
kids.
like, oh, you loser. Yeah.
There was one guy that had like 3 kids over 3.5 years and took the full 6 months every single time. You know who I'm talking about, Steve, which good job for that guy. But I mean, he worked a total of like a half a year and 2 years or something, in 3 years. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I think that was the thing when people say with kids, it's like they were just overboard with all the just stuff you got.
All right.
Let's all calm
Fire's
down.
been-
Let's
not
all
that
calm
Ryan
down.
needed a fire lit under
Let's
him, but
all
now
calm down and read the next email.
Yeah, no, the fire's been burning bright for a while. I didn't need that to motivate me. I just moving on. All right. Hey guys, 6'1"
Christ.
without shoes, tipping the scale 180 pounds. I don't lift weights, but do dips and push-ups when I can. I can't be the only one who straightens their back and sizes someone up as I walk by them if they look taller than me from afar. Am I?
Whoa.
I might
No.
correct my posture, but I'm not sure I'm sizing up everybody that I'm. Anyway,
Ryan,
I had
you kind of, I feel like you scope out the scene, and I feel like you're like, hey, who could I kind of take in the situation?
Yeah, I mean, fucking Jason. What would Jason Bourne do?
Yeah, where are the exits? You know,
Do you want a seat at the
Potential
bar?
weapons.
No, I want a seat over there at the table where my back isn't open.
Smart.
Have you
Interesting.
have you not seen any of the movies?
takes way longer to get your orders, but I guess if you want to be safe,
I don't know. I had a guy working I sat at the bar last night, and I don't know if the bartender worked there.
oh really? Think it was an American thing?
Didn't talk to me. Didn't ask for water. Nothing. Fucking plates with bugs on them. Wouldn't move them out of the way. Never talked to him. Never talked to him the entire time. Fascinating.
Do you have that USA
Fascinating
stank
display.
on you think? And they're just like, fuck this guy.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think that was it. I think he
All right.
just sucked at his job. Like sucked.
Okay.
All right. Player comp is Brian. Is that Mooten? Byron Mooten. Why did I want to pronounce that differently? Of Maryland Laura. Hustle player that fills the stat sheet. For context, I'm 38. Is it Moten? No, I don't think so. Anyway, I don't remember him. Sorry.
I don't either.
He a Terp. So I haven't played EA Sports College Football in 15 years, but after its return in 2025, a group of friends decided to buy the game so we could play Dynasty mode together. Basically, we each select a team and play our season with a mix of computer game and user game. I'm not much of a gamer, but I can hold my own in our group. There are 5 guys, including me, in the entirety of the 2025 season. I was the Dynasty punching bag, the easy W on the schedule, et cetera, et cetera. We got through 10 seasons over the course of the year, and I didn't win a title and maybe made the playoffs once. If you'd expanded to 24 teams, you probably would. I knew my role, throw bones to the other guys, and they get their W so everyone stays happy and keep the good times rolling. Or maybe I didn't win because I just wasn't good and everyone was better than me. But I never quit. That brings us to 2026. New year, new game, new season, new me. I came out of the gate hot. We played 5 seasons or so, and I've won the national championship twice. No one else has won a championship, leaving me alone on the mountaintop. I've won 4 consecutive Heismans and just about every other award you can think of. One guy had to bow out because he had a second kid. Yeah, I understand that. A second guy has since bowed out to take a break from gaming, presumably from being this year's version of me last year. I've been accused of spamming certain plays and not playing the right way. That used to be me with Vic and then Culpepper, Randy Moss. Guys are like, is this even fucking fun for you? I'd be like, another W. Blackhawks, though, 94. Not fun for anybody. We're down to 3 guys, and I keep winning. We're currently set on Heisman level play, and everyone has a pretty good team, so the playing field is even. Am I giving myself too much credit for the downfall of this dynasty? Should I win less often so the other guys can taste the glory? How else am I supposed to play a video game if not to win at any cost, spamming plays or not? We all have access to the same offensive and defensive playbooks. I've been told to play the game more legitimately and less video game-like. I can't do that. I'm here to crush records and win natties. What do? Do I scale back, let others win, quietly quit? Have I broken some unwritten rule, some video game etiquette? Note, the league commissioner has changed sliders and gameplay options, like limiting the number of times you can run a certain player, how frequently we can run plays, presumably to slow me down. It hasn't worked.
It just moneyballed this whole league.
I'm a little nervous. This is one of my buddies writing in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we have we did 5 guys. Nobody quit, and somebody definitely didn't quit because they had 2 kids. So it's a little bit different. But I have a very similar situation going on.
You didn't quit
right
on
now.
your second kid.
Yeah, I wouldn't quit. I'll always find time, late night, get a little grinding. So 2025, we had we did probably 15 or so seasons, maybe. I wasn't bad. I was Virginia Tech.
Damn.
Made the playoffs a lot, but never won a title. And there were guys that were better than me. There were guys that won titles. It was fun. And then this year, we were like, hey, we're going to be worse schools because it was too easy last year. Like we would just make the playoff every year. It was kind of dumb. So we'll be worse schools. So I'm New Mexico this year. And 3rd season in, I won the first title of the group. And I don't know if it was necessarily me winning the title, but there are dudes in their feelings, like sliders were changed. There's a group chat dedicated to people just kind of bitching about gameplay, which is kind of annoying to me a little bit. Cause it's not like you could look things up on how to play the game. I'm not saying the game's perfect. It's certainly not. It's incredibly flawed. There's a lot of dumb things in the game, especially the recruiting. But I don't know, man. Like all these, I'm with the emailer. All of this information is available for people to learn. Like you can play whatever version of the game that you want to play, and everybody wants to win. I feel like there's just kind of some sore losers here. So I don't know. Like it sounds like some of your friends kind of can't take it, which is a bummer because the game's supposed to be about having fun and camaraderie with your buddies.
Well, I don't really understand this. Like again, going back years, if you dialed up Sega Hockey and you picked Chicago Blackhawks, like people just ask you to leave the room, right? But that's not what's happening here. The Culpepper Moss thing was probably pretty annoying.
Tough.
4 goes. And then you just be like, all right, let me slide my guy over. I'll like kind of throw it sort of on the seam. And then, Moss is going to win it every single time. I mean, look, this guy was getting his ass kicked before and now he's winning. So now that's his problem. What's wrong with improving yourself?
Well, they think he's cheating. Because there's like meta ways to play the game, like there's like the ways that like the streamers play that everyone thinks are kind of, it's basically just like exploiting the game. Like there's like, certain formations, certain plays, certain like archetypes of players that are not they're just better than everybody else.
I'm not a big Twitch guy, so I don't know this.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither am I. I just know these things to be true.
It sounds like you might be late at night in the basement. After the kids go down, I don't know.
I've watched a YouTube video or two about defensive schemes in the game.
Welcome to Cerruti Cement Dome. I'm in the basement again.
I wish.
It's a great name.
Ball huggers. We're kicking it off here pretty soon.
Oh man! I mean, the only
and over
thing
here's a girl with boobs.
The only thing I have that's kind of like that is there's a 9-year age gap between me and my younger brother, and I think I was like circling around 20. I might have been like 19. I think I was fresh out of high school, and we would play Madden together. And there was like, I couldn't figure this out. He just figured out that if he did the fake field goal, he could march down the field on one of the Maddens. I don't know what it was. I changed defensive. I was trying to do like all the like punt. I was trying to do everything. I couldn't do it. He would march down the field like 10 yards at a time. And it was just, I stopped playing. I don't know if I've played Madden with him since, because it was like 4 games in a row. And I tried everything I could. I guess I wasn't a big YouTube guy back then, like how to stop fake field goal. I just figured it would stop.
Terrible.
It was terrible. I mean, it's different. Like you call it spamming plays, but that's the only thing. I remember the rage I felt and having to let my little brother down after he's on a high because he's found this cheat code to beat me, 4 separate games in a row. Where I'm just like, I don't think we're playing Madden. You just lost your best bud for Madden. I'm sorry. Because he just wouldn't stop doing it. So I just remember that rage. That was real rage.
I had a buddy, he's still a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. He used to like spam with Julius Peppers. So he would basically just like drop back with Julius, because Julius Peppers in Madden in like 05, 06 was unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
So he would literally drop back with him and just like patrol the middle of the field. So he'd have like 4 interceptions a game with Julius Peppers. He'd have like 10 sacks. And you're just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't do anything. I can't play. Like Julius, he's 6'6". He moves like a cornerback. Like how am I supposed to play this game? How am I supposed to play offense? And he used to just dominate us as, I don't think I ever beat him growing up because he was just so good with Julius Peppers. And now, NCAA, you kind of can't do that anymore. It got nerfed a little bit.
Well, look, if they change everything around, I don't know how you're playing. I don't play the games anymore. But if they've adjusted the sliders to the whole thing, I mean, maybe he's doing something that's annoying to these guys, but I can't tell if it's because of his gameplay or they're just used to like, hey, you weren't good. You weren't supposed to be good. Like it's a lot, like I keep bringing up hockey, but there was just guys that were marks. And then I remember I was a mark for a really long time. And then I learned the move. I learned the deke. And then guess what? Guys weren't comfortable with it. There was an entire year I was behind everybody. And then I put some serious time in. I was like, oh, this is the move. This is all you guys have been doing the entire time. All right, this isn't that hard. Next thing you know, you're playing with the Capitals, 3-2 win. The guy that owned the room for a long time is like, I don't like this. I don't like that you beat me. Next thing you know, you're beating everybody. Maybe your coursework's fallen behind a little, but it's not your fault. Fedorov's fucking sniper. All right, Iserman. I don't know. I mean, maybe we didn't need to read that one. Yeah. We don't need to follow.
That was 10 minutes on that. Jesus Christ.
That was long. A little long for that one. I don't know that I have to apologize to the audience, but we'll keep it moving. All right. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks to Cerruti for this one. Thanks to Big Cat for stopping by the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Ryen Russillo Show, part of the Barstool Network.